Hello, and welcome to Making Friends, a game about a witch that made a friend. Making friends. Start, load, about, settings, quit, spellbook, question mark. Yeah, let's look at the about. Let's see what we got about. Making Friends, version 1.11. Content warning, this game deals with themes of emotional manipulation. Okay. Making Friends is a collaboration between Autumnatopia and Alita, a duo from the PNW who are active in local indie game scenes. Together, they've made tiny games about various subjects, including dodging stuff while being gay, getting trapped in space with a monster, and hypnotizing eldritch gods for fun and profit. Featuring music and sounds by Ace Luke, a transgender composer and sound designer from the PNW who specializes in making music for games. She's worked on multiple projects such as Violet and the Lost Colors, Clave, as I pronounce it right, Clave, not Clav, Clave, and Little Guy's World. Additional sound effects from Zap Splat, made by Renpy. All those numbers. This program contains, oh, you know what? 7.4.11.2266. I realized that this. I realized that, and then I realized that the game I'm playing is like made with a very inclusive mindset, and just saying all those numbers means that someone who might not be able to like read or have vision problems wouldn't be able to know what those numbers are if they had a desire to know. This program contains free software under a number of licenses, including the MIT license and the GNU Lesser General Public license. A complete list of software, including links to full source code, can be found here. That's pretty cool. What we got in the settings? Display, window, full screen. I got that on full screen. Click rewind, disabled. Left side, right side. I'll stick with whatever happens. Skip unseen text. After choices, alter choices. I can't tell. I think it's after alt. I don't know. And transitions. Music. I like the music, and I appreciate you, but something I always do is I just turn the music down just a bit. Text speed, auto forward time, clear game progress. Alright, let's bump the music up just a little bit. That seems about it for all the stuff you can find in the game that is not the actual game itself. All the stuff in the main menu. There's quit, which takes you, out of the game. Let's start. Let's give a play. Narrator. It goes without saying that we, as humans, generally have little control over our emotions. Trying to choose what we feel is be as futile as trying to tell the sea to wax when it would normally wane. We can only adjust our sails, attempting to choose what emotion we're guided by. I'm going to tell you a story and an exercise. And as an exercise, you will attempt to change the outcome by inviting the protagonists to explore different feelings. Perhaps you will be able to see yourself in our heroines if you look carefully enough. Do you understand? I feel understanding. Very good, let's begin. Ever since a young age, I have always felt entirely alone. Other kids at school didn't really get me. I liked cool things that were more complex than their ignorant brains could deal with. It's not like I wanted to be lonely. I tried for a while to make friends, to play nice, but time after time it'd fail. I'd turn into some cute little puppy I'd turn some... Oh, Jesus. I'm misreading this all over. I'd turn some cute little puppy into a much improved spider puppy, and all of a sudden little Lillian would go crying to mommy. Like, Lillian from the Rugrats? Sorry for making it better, Lillian. Eventually, I realized that trying to fit in wasn't worth it. My weirdness would inevitably be found out, and I'd be right back to square one. So I may as well proudly wear it on my sleeve. Growing up, everyone around me formed neat little lines that would funnel into their eventual place in society. When someone asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I told them the only thing that could possibly be true. Me. I just want to be me. But that doesn't pay particularly well on its own. There was one thing I knew I wanted to do, I suppose. I wanted to make some friends. Even if it would be a long, hard path, I knew it would be rewarding in its own way. And to do that, I knew the easiest place to start would be furthering my magical education. Somewhat reluctantly, I attended Trogcroft's College of Alchemical Magic. There is a popular misconception that magic is simply reading a tome, stirring a cauldron, and saying abracadabra, as though that is enough to evoke your will into the world. However, that is not enough, obviously. Can anyone tell me what else is required? Oh, I forgot to label that this stuff's being spoken by the teacher now. We moved on from the narrator to the teacher. The class sat in silence. No sane person would actually volunteer to answer after all. Willow. Oh! I guess it wasn't really true that I didn't have any friends. I had Willow, I guess. Here she was, raising her hand as always. Show off. Miss Willow, go ahead. Well, it's complex, right? Sometimes you need special reagents. That's true, but more importantly? Well, you need a clear intent. That's only part of the equation, unfortunately. To cast a truly successful spell, you need to feel it. Deep inside, it needs to be a part of you. What about the boring stuff? Says another student. Like, what if I lock myself out of my dorm and I need to soften the lock? Is there really any boring magic? I think if you contemplate your scenario for a while, you'd find it laced with emotion throughout. Embarrassment? Concern for your well-being? Those are fuel. Don't underestimate the power of your unconscious emotion. I took the opportunity to lean towards Willow, pointedly whispering, "That sucks for me, because I don't have any feelings." Her eyes rolled. Shush, I'm trying to learn. For details on today's homework, check the portal. It should be a simple assignment. Look through your reading and write me a few paragraphs about how different emotions can benefit you in different situations. See you all on Wednesday. I quickly threw my notes in my bag, looking at Willow. Wow, what an insightful lesson. How does that all make you feel, Willow? Well, I feel absolutely famished. How about we make our way to the commons? For someone so smart, you sure are dumb. Hunger's not a feeling, idiot. Willow's been around for almost longer than I can remember. Unlike most of the uncultured swine of this school, she appreciates me. You'd think people at Magic Academy would be more into my whole aesthetic, but surprise, surprise, there's posers everywhere you go. If we're being honest, I'm not really sure Willow and I have that much in common either, but I guess it's nice that there's someone around. Sort of like a puppy. That you always sort of suspect would be cooler if it was a spider puppy. We sat down at a table after retrieving some of the university's finest food. So how are you feeling about your classes? Says Willow. Morrigan? Oh, our character here is Morrigan, okay. Pretty boring. Like, wow, who would have guessed? Magic needs emotion. That's 101 stuff, isn't it? It literally is 101 stuff. We're in Emotional Magic 101. Yeah, but the end of the term. Near the end of the term. Listen, all I'm saying is this magic stuff seems easy so far. Almost too easy? Oh? Where'd you get that impression? I've been working on an independent project. What? Oh, sorry. I meant to say I'm working on an independent project. That doesn't clear anything up. Wait, is this related to those reagents you got caught stealing last month? Don't tell me you're still up to something delinquent. It doesn't seem right to call my masterwork something delinquent. That's just discouraging education, if you ask me. Honestly, I feel like I'm learning more on my own than from this academy nowadays. I think I may be just about ready to move on to greater and darker things. I'm pretty confident I've learned everything they can offer me here. What? That's so stupid. How could you even think that? Even if you were a master alchemist, isn't there something you'd be missing here? I'm not seeing it. You know, something important that you would miss when you're gone, like maybe the ability to do some social networking. She gestured vaguely at herself, but I couldn't help but smirk at the irony of the situation that she couldn't have possibly known. Don't worry about my social connections. I think I have that covered. What? What does that mean? You're not going to mass produce love potions, are you? Eh, so small minded. This is exactly why I think I'm better than this place. I'm small minded? Uh, you should at least stick to it until graduation. That'd look way better on your resume. Okay, but here's the thing I don't care about my resume. I had a goal that I came here to accomplish, and now I've nearly accomplished it. There's no reason for me to stay. No reason? No reason? I guess you're right. There's no reason for you to be at this miserable school with your abominable classmates. Everything here could just go to hell for all you care. A worthless school full of worthless things. I mean, yeah, basically. Willow stood, abandoning her tray at the table. Fine. Fine? And then stormed off. You fucking hurt her feelings. I felt indignant or unmoved. Ah. Hmm. This is hard because I don't I don't like either of these, but fuck it, you're feeling moved. Oh well, it didn't really matter that much to me as I was trying to tell her my project was almost finished. I was too busy being excited to worry too much about some over emotional dame. Bro, that's your friend. You've been friends with this person, you said, for as long as you can remember. Holy shit. From the beginning, this academy had been pivotal in the completion of my project. It started when I took my first class here, after all. The professor was so kind and caring. When I had a breakdown in her office, she kindly ran to get me some tissues. And even more kindly left me alone in her office with all the best ingredients. It was an excellent start. I was able to grab about half my list. A single day in, and I already made great strides. I felt on top of the world. Gathering the second half of the ingredients went on to be a challenge, but a surmountable one. Finally, a class of mine had announced a field trip. I know, right? A field trip? We're not children anymore. Thankfully, it got me in the right place at the right time. I grabbed an apple off of Willow's abandoned tray, enjoying it thoroughly on the way back to my room. Waste not, want not, or whatever. As I arrived, I took a deep breath and opened the door. With my stomach full and my nerve resolute, I knew that it was time. I took my ceremonial candles, placing them around the room. Wasn't part of the ritual or anything. I just thought it was sort of, I don't know, stylish? Forget I said that. How fucking cheesy. After setting the mood, I prepared my actual components. Seeing everything set out in front of me filled me with a sense of confidence. The various notes pinned about with little reminders helped. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Put a component in, stir, whisper an incantation. A fresh strand of hair, my deepest secret, a glimpse of something beyond the pale. The final component was easy. I always have one on hand. A solitary eyeball flower. To light, to light. I delicately tossed the flower into the cauldron. I was so close. The final step necessitated a sense of privacy. A pink smoke streamed out of the pot, lightly at first, then with force. I continued stirring until I found that it was too thick, too solid to stir any further. A hand reached out of the pot, followed by an arm, and then one more. Finally, a head emerged. Oh, whoa. Hello? Hi? You just, man, straight from birth to kissing, huh? Wow, I'm so happy to meet you. A bright purple girl leapt from the pot, taking me in an embrace. I felt the warmth I haven't for as long as I could remember. Sitting there with her on top of me, time seemed to freeze. I felt, enraptured. I'm happy to meet you too. Forcing my useless arms to move, I wrapped her in a tight hug. After a moment of numbness, my brain finally started thinking forward. There were many things I had to prepare for that I foolishly had left unattended. Clothes, for example. I have so many questions. What size are you? The homunculus shot me a confused smile, tilting her head slightly at the question. What size am I? You're the one who made me, silly. Shouldn't you know that? Right. So I did. I went to stand, but... Oh, she's still, on me. Get off of me. It occurred to me how harsh my words were. Usually I didn't care. I peered into her face. Thankfully, she showed no sign of being hurt. Oh, okay, I will. For now. Oh, that's vaguely threatening. Though I missed the warmth almost immediately, I did not miss the immobility. I stood, walking to my closet. You look like you're about the same size as me. I'm sure we can get you into something. Flipping through my wardrobe, I clicked my tongue. Somehow my style didn't feel like it would suit her. But maybe... Aha, I still have it. My family never really understood what I liked to wear. What else is new? I put out a box of all the things they got me that I would never in a million years put on my body. Here, you can put these on. Why? It's just... How do you even answer that? I don't want you to freeze to death. Took a lot of effort to make you, you know. Oh, I know an easy solution. Ooh. Oh, I know an easy solution to keeping me warm. And it'll be easier to explain if anyone walks in. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Fine. I insisted on her putting on clothes, but honestly, it wasn't like anyone other than me would be seeing her anyways. How do I look? Hmm? She looked so cute. You look okay, I guess. She grinned at me, doing a little spin. Man, 3 eyes. I'd never seen that before. I showed her around my quarters, telling her everything she needed to know. It had gotten pretty late by the time I finished the ritual, and even later still by the time the homunculus had finished getting dressed and acquainted with the room. I laid in my bed, she laid down beside me. I've been wondering about something. What's that? What's your name? A part of me was surprised she didn't know it naturally, like it was part of her blood. Basically was. It's Morrigan. Morrigan. Wow. Can I ask you something else? Can I stop you? What's my name? Oh. It hadn't occurred to me until now. This thing that I had made with my own 2 hands, what should she be called? What is her name? Oh, I can type it. Let's see. What is the name? What's in a name? How about Cherry. How about Cherry? Is that stupid? She has no way of knowing if it's stupid or not, I guess. Cherry. Okay. Cherry. I closed my eyes, contemplating what we would do tomorrow. Before I could fall asleep, I felt her lips touch mine. Oh. The days that followed were, well, I hate to say it, but The days that followed were blissful. It was like a waking dream. I was almost surprised when I woke up every morning and she was still there. Cherry, I have a surprise for you. Everything's a surprise for me. I'm extremely easy to surprise, I think. I knelt in front of my cauldron, tossing a few things in and stoking the fire. What are you making? I literally just told you it's a surprise, didn't I? She knelt beside me, laying her head on my shoulder. We sat for a few minutes with the occasional stirring of the pot. Finally, it was done. I dislodged from Cherry, standing to retrieve the vessel. Oh? I tilted the cauldron, carefully pouring the tea into a more manageable kettle, then pouring it from the kettle into even more manageable teacups. I handed her one gingerly. What's this? This is tea. Specifically Earl Grey. Oh, I see. She regarded the cup for a second, turning her eyes up to me. Is it for drinking? It was kind of funny how naive she was. Yes, silly, it's for drinking. I'm certainly not as experienced at brew magic as the barista masters at Cafe Jean, but I think it's good anyways. I watched her take the cup and put it to her lips, wincing as it was hotter than she expected. If it's too hot, just blow on it a little. The gears in her head seemed to turn. Will it actually make it cooler? I think so. So, probably. Wow. Thank you for showing me so much stuff. Well, it's the only thing to do, duh. What use is being with someone cool if you can't do anything fun? There's so much stuff I want to show you. I'm excited to see it. Say, sweetie, do you think we could ever, I don't know, go for a walk? Mm-hmm. That might be tough. Uh-oh. She'd never asked about the outside world before. How did you not anticipate this? Yeah, maybe sometime, but it's pretty boring, honestly. Oh, okay. We sat together, drinking tea peacefully. I had to keep her entertained so she wouldn't worry too much about leaving. If she wanted to leave, then I honestly didn't know what I'd do. Oh, also, ever since I was a young girl, I knew precisely what I wanted out of life. I wanted to become a master alchemist, someone that people for miles around would know and respect. I also wanted a vibrant personal life, to be able to spend any night that I wanted with my friends and to have a fun time, shaking off the stress of the day. Maybe even someone to come home to who'd always be by my side when I needed it. I also had another goal. I wanted my friend Morrigan to be able to enjoy that life with me. Did we switch characters? It was selfish, I suppose. I don't get to determine what other people do with their lives, I know that, but I still wanted her with me, to be by my side when I need it. Sometimes she'd talk about how lonely she was, and I'd feel, well, a little hurt, I guess. Sometimes it felt like she was all I'd think about, but I often got the impression that I was barely even a footnote to her. I was the year ahead of her in school, so when I went away to college, I was worried she'd totally forgotten me. But when I ran into her one day, she told me that she was planning on attending Crofts College. I was so relieved we were going to the same school. I guess we did switch perspectives to the other character from earlier. And a part of me was convinced it wasn't just a coincidence. Maybe she did miss me the same way I missed her after all. But then the stealing started, and her weird schemes that she whisper brags about. I just get worried about her, I guess. If she didn't want to live my way, that's fine. But sometimes it seemed like she didn't want to live any way at all. I wanted her to be able to succeed in life, which maybe led me to saying things that were harsher than I meant. Morrigan hasn't been to class for a week. I'm starting to get worried. Last time I saw her was a couple days ago, sneaking around the dorm halls late at night. Frankly, it's a little impressive. I couldn't imagine staying in my room for as long as she seems to have. You know. Uh, Staying in my room, for me, is pretty awesome, honestly. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. This all started around the time we had our argument. I felt... Well, you felt hurt. She might still be upset about it, but she's the one who hurt me, and now she's just decided to ignore my feelings and hide until things blow over. Typical Morrigan. Man, that's we're getting a bit relatable now, aren't we? She's important to me though. I can't just let this go. I'll bring her a nice drink and a treat after class gets out. While waiting in the interminably long line at Cafe Jean, it occurs to me that it may actually be faster to go off campus and get a boring old hand-brewed cup of coffee. You'd think brewing coffee magically would make service more expedient, not worse. But knowing Morrigan, she won't accept any substitutes. It's like she has a magical intuition for when someone is trying to shortchange her. She's only ever astute in the most annoying ways. Finally, they hand me my order and I'm out the door. As I approached her dorm, I heard giggling? Muffled and quiet. Maybe it was crying? I felt my nerves catch up with me, which meant it was time to knock before I could overthink it. Knock, knock, knock. Instantly, the soft noises turned to silence. A few seconds passed. Felt like something was gripping my heart. After a few more had come and gone, I knocked again. What? Finally, I could hear her talking from behind the door. Hey, it's me. I was hoping we could talk. I could hear a sigh, some shuffling, then finally, a little while later, the door inched open. Morrigan's eye was barely visible through the crack. Oh, it is you. Hi. Hi. I brought you a treat? I thrust the drink forward, fixing my eyes on it. Oh, cool, thanks. She accepted it, a good omen. After a quick temperature check, she took a sip. Black is my soul. That's an incredibly cheesy thing to say. You know, just because the thing you... So, people don't like being cheesy. In the real younger years, they don't like being cheesy. However, I will say this. If you're out there and you're a young person, saying something that's edgy, just because the thing you say is dark, doesn't make it not cheesy. The thing that she just said here, incredibly cheesy. Unimaginably cheesy. But you know, with some sugar and cream. I know, just how you like it. A silence fell over us. So, I just wanted to apologize for what I said before. Uh-huh. It was very uncool of me. I'm your friend, not your mom. It's not right to hound you like that. Yeah, that seems right. And I just wanted you to know I regret it, and I miss you. Morrigan gave me a light smile. It's okay, I'm not mad. Somehow, despite the words that she was saying being nice, something felt wrong. Do you want to hang out? I've not seen you around much. You know, I'd love to, but I've been pretty busy. I should probably get back to it. Busy? What could you possibly be doing in there? Is this why you've been skipping classes? Class or whatever? Don't worry, you wouldn't really get it anyways. Well, maybe later then? I'll think about it. Bye. Bye. The door closed once more, and I just couldn't ignore the heavy feeling in my gut. She said it was okay. She didn't act like she was mad at me, so what's the problem? As I walked away, I once again heard that distant tittering. When I returned to my room, I hung my robe on the hook carefully. It sucks when things are complicated. What was all that even supposed to mean? I have no way of deciphering it. I felt... Hmm. It was scary to know someone, to have a routine with someone, and for it to just change and become nothing so suddenly. Was there even anything I could do to get my friend back? Was it already too late? I slumped down in my bed, closing my eyes. Then I heard a knock at the door. Without hesitation, I leapt back up and ran to answer it. Morrigan. Willow, I'm sorry. I got embarrassed and I didn't know what to say, but I forgive you, and I want to hang out. The sudden barrage of words was stunning. I felt so happy. Well, okay, you want to come in? We could watch another episode or two of Reborn in Another World as a tax accountant. That's definitely a gag anime of some kind. Yes, that sounds great. Remember when it made me laugh so hard I almost passed out? Duh, you weren't even laughing at a joke. The main character just got hit by a truck. It's like the first episode of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Seemed pretty funny to me. We walked back into my room, Morrigan sitting on the bed and patting the seat next to her. I really am sorry for ignoring you, you know? I sat down next to her. Aw, hand-holding. But there's just been something I want to tell you, I guess. Oh, what's that? Oh, oh, Joe, damn. Okay. Willow, I love you. Whoa. I could feel my body tensing. Was this a joke? Her hand moved to my face, gingerly taking my chin. I've loved you for so long. I love you too. I love you too. In the blink of an eye, everything faded. This wasn't you weren't dreaming just now, were you? I love you. In another few blinks of the eye, I could feel it slip between my fingers. Oh no. I had been dreaming. Oh no. I had been dreaming. I was still alone. Nothing in the waking world had changed other than the time. Damn. I sat there mourning the loss for a few long minutes, after which I begrudgingly got up and got ready for class. That's definitely something that'll make you sad as fuck. Another week had passed. Morrigan had yet to resurface. It's funny how the absence of something can fill your thoughts so completely. A hole that takes up the whole space. I knew that if something didn't change, I'd go crazy. So I decided to do something a little crazy to avoid a lot of crazy, I guess. Like fighting fire with fire? For some reason, I couldn't get over that strange giggling I'd heard from Morgan's room. There had to be something going on. Perhaps it was time for a more productive investigation session. I spread some watcher's salve on her door and on my own forehead, waiting discreetly nearby. She'd have to leave her room eventually, and when she did, I'd know. If something in that room is keeping her this busy, then I need to know what it is so I can help her. In the meanwhile, I had plenty of papers I could work on. The ethical imperative of potions would be my friend in these trying times. When the spell finally triggered a few hours later, I scrambled to pack away my interim workstation. There was no way to tell how long she'd be gone, so I had no choice but to be in and out in the amount of time it takes her to use the bathroom. This put my window at a fairly comfortable 15-minute minimum, thankfully. I knew Morrigan well enough to know that. I carefully made my way to her door and gave it a gentle knock, checking that the coast was clear. After giving it enough time to be certain, I turned the doorknob and quickly stepped in. The room was dark, lit only by a few candles near the bed. I reached into my pocket, retrieving an illumination capsule, and crushed it between my fingers. Nothing seemed obviously awry at first. Some clothes on the floor, board game pieces scattered about, a body pillow. Wait, that's no body pillow. What the what the The words refused to come out of my mouth. The body pillow turned to face me, bright-eyed. Oh my god! The being leapt up, meeting me in an embrace. Hello? It's so good to meet you. What's your name? I had to force myself to take a moment to adjust. Who is this? Is this even a human person? I tried to keep my space, a concept that seemed to confuse her. Well, this is strange. I'm Willow. What, what are you doing here? The girl's head tilted even deeper in confusion. I live here. Always have. So, when you say always, what exactly do you mean by that? Well, as long as I can remember, I suppose. My sweetie and I... Oh, wait, sorry. She told me not to call her that. Morrigan and I have spent my life here. Your life? Your whole life? A homunculus. A freaking homunculus. This has been what she's been spending all her time doing? Oh, also, we're gonna get the perspective of the homunculus now? Ever since I was made, I've always been here, in this room. Usually she's here with me. We play and sing and watch silly little movies. But sometimes she has to leave. The problem is, I love her very much. I would like it if, perhaps, she never ever had to leave. But she still does? It's kinda confusing. When left alone in the room, I had a lot of time to think. For example, what was there to do? When she was gone and I was left all alone, I often just sat down, patting the pillows to feel some form of comfort. But it was a lonely, boring existence in her absence. Then she'd come back and we could have fun again. Alright, it's a little weird, but do you want to try a new game? Oh, new game? Sure. It's called charades. We take turns drawing words out of a bowl. The drawer has to act out the word without speaking. Then the other person has to guess what the word is. Okay, that makes sense. I'll go first. Morrigan reached towards a bowl she had prepared earlier, taking a slip of paper and reading it. I'm gonna start, okay? Okay. She started flapping her arms to her side like after a few seconds she paused. You can just say your guess out loud, okay? You don't need to wait, and there's no penalty for getting it wrong. Mm-hmm. Morrigan went back to the flapping motion, leaning her head back and opening and closing her mouth like a... witch. Are you a witch? Morrigan stopped, pursing her lips and thought. Here, actually, why don't you go first? She held the bowl out for me. After a moment of hesitation, I reached out and took a slip of paper. Reservoir. As a human myself, I don't know how you would actually act out being a reservoir. I don't know this word, Morrigan. Oh, that's okay. You can draw again. How embarrassing. I picked another piece of paper. Village. I guess it's because I've never played charades before in my life, but I don't know how you would act out being a village, necessarily. It's okay. You can keep going until you get a good one. Fever, dome, prisoner, tree. As I discarded yet another, Morrigan leaned forward, peering down at the scraps of paper with an uneasy expression. We can play a different game. I often felt like I didn't know as much as Morrigan. There were so many things that seemed outside of my grasp. Sometimes she'd talk to me about her other friends, or things outside, but I couldn't really do anything other than smile and nod. It never bothered me very much. I had her, and that was enough. I'm not greedy, after all. But when Willow came to visit, I have to admit I was quite intrigued. When Morrigan had left, I expected to be alone with my thoughts in the room for a while. To my surprise, though, a new guest. At first, I had thought Morrigan had just come back prematurely, but it was something entirely new. What the Oh my god. Overwhelmed by excitement, I hopped up to hug my new friend. Hello, it's so good to meet you. What's your name? Well, this is strange. I'm Willow. What are you doing here? I live here, always have. So when you say always, what exactly do you mean by that? Well, as long as I can remember, I suppose. My sweetie and I... Oh, wait. Sorry. She told me not to call her that. Morrigan and I have spent my life here. Your life? Your whole life? That's rather sad, isn't it? Huh? Was it? I feel love. Okay. While I was aware of the hypothetical existence of the word, the concept of something sad happening to me just didn't make sense. I was happy? I love Morrigan. Nah, Morrigan brings me food and we play a lot of games. I didn't entirely know how to interpret the look on Willow's face. I'm sure you'd have fun too. Maybe you can play with us sometime. You're really cute too, you know. The more I thought about it, the better the idea was. I had so much fun with Morrigan. Having another person around would surely make things more fun. No, that's okay. Please don't tell her I was here, okay? Just pretend like this never happened. Willow was holding her hand to her chest, clutching the fabric of her robe tight. Without any further explanation, she stood up and skittered away, leaving me once again alone. And then... It sucks so much that there are things I have to do outside of my room. My parents pay for my living fees. Dorms aren't cheap, even though they seem like they should be. Yeah, for real. Despite that, I'm sometimes forced to do things in the real world for hours at a time. Food, family stuff. It's kind of obnoxious. But as I came back to my room, all was forgiven. Morrigan! Cherry rushed at me, greeting me with a tackle hug. In my youth, I may have even called it a glomp. Man. Boy, does that take me back to high school, middle school. It's good to see you again, too. I missed you. I missed you, too. It was so lonely while you were gone. Oh, well, mostly. Wait, what does that mean? Well, it was supposed to be a secret, but you'll never believe this. I had a visitor. No. That doesn't make any sense. Do you mean, like, a mouse? I don't think so. Her name was Willow. She was pretty cute. I think you guys would be good friends. Willow? That bitch? So she thinks she can just break into my room now, huh? Are you mad? I'm sorry. I thought you'd be happy. No, I'm sorry. It's not your fault. It really ruffles my feathers that she thinks she can just come in here and spy on me whenever she wants. So I'm not mad at you. You're perfect. I'm just mad at her. She shifted uncomfortably, clearly not used to conflict. Honestly, I kind of liked getting to meet her. I've never got to meet anyone else like that before. It was exciting. I know it seems exciting when it's not happened before. It's only because you don't realize how much everyone sucks. I don't know. Sometimes I think it may be nice to learn from myself. Don't you like how things are now? Isn't it nice? Of course, I love playing games with you, and I love you. It's just... Sometimes I think about all the stuff that's out there, you know? This is all great, but I know there's other great things, and sometimes you're not here. It just feels a little hollow sometimes, I guess. Let's make she'll feel remorseful. It was a bitter truth to hear, one that I had tried to not to think about. I I need some time to be. How ironic that I no longer had a room to be alone in. I stumbled towards the door, gripping my head in my hands. I'm sorry, I'll be back soon. Unsure of where to even go, I fled my sanctuary. I paced the halls for hours that night. There was obviously some deep problems with the current situation, problems I wasn't really equipped to deal with. Was it even possible to find a solution? After wandering aimlessly without finding any answers, I returned to my room. Oh, you're back! She tackled me in her standard hug. I was so scared that I was too mean. You literally don't have a mean bone in your body. I left those out when making you, since I have enough for the both of us. In that moment, I couldn't help but feel that maybe with enough time I'd figure out what to do on my own. The next day, I couldn't think of a solution either, or the day after that. But maybe that's okay. Maybe we're both happy, aren't we? It's not like I'm keeping her locked up in a tower and making her do all my cleaning. I mean, that's half right. We're just two girls keeping each other company in a world that wouldn't shed a single tear if we were gone. Okay, come on. Isn't that enough? And then it had been a few weeks since I met Morrigan's project. I wasn't entirely sure how to process it, to be honest. There's no doubt that what she was doing wasn't healthy, but also, I guess she's happy for once. It felt uniquely cruel to tear her away from that happiness, so what was there to do? I guess just wait for the new girl's smell to wear out, wait around for her to maybe remember a girl named Willow. But I was starting to get worried. Mainly in that it was the end of the term. Morrigan had unsurprisingly skipped all of her finals, as far as I could tell. She lives in the school housing. How long can she ignore school and stay in her little bubble? All I can do is hope she wakes up soon. And then we were reading to each other when there was a knock on the door. Ugh. Literally, who would even bother to come by anymore? Willow? If I wanted someone to condescend to me, I would have just built the condensation machine. Oh, wait, that's something different. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I gestured for Cherry to hide, which she quickly did. I pulled the door open by a crack. What? It was a mousy-looking man in a button-up shirt. Hello. Are you Morrigan? It depends on who's asking. Well, I'm actually the resident advisor for this floor. This is a little awkward, but are you signed up for classes next semester? No. Yeah, well, unfortunately, this residence hall is for students. I shut the door slowly, taking in what I probably should have predicted. Hello? You'll have to move out by the end of the week if you're not taking any classes. I'm sorry for such late notice. He finished shouting at me from behind the door. Just like men, always yelling. Where does he get off telling me what to do? But I suspected that he probably had the power in this situation. Cherry emerged from under her blanket cocoon, watching me with a glint of curiosity in her eyes. What does that mean? It means that I have to start phase 2 of my plan, obviously. Phase 2? Plan? Don't worry your pretty little head about it. Obviously, I've been planning for this moment all along. I could go live with my parents, probably, but the idea of living there with Cherry seemed weird. I don't know. I have until the end of the week. I can always figure it out tomorrow. Girl. You... Oh my god. You did not have a plan at all. You were a lonely girl and you had no plan. That's wild. As long as we're together, I just know everything will be alright. Oh, this is gonna end so badly. Well, I mean... Alright, fine. If you're happy, I guess, but, like... The belief that things can always exist as they currently do. It's quite sad when you're in a situation that you enjoy, but know that it can't last forever, I suppose. But at times we can preserve things beyond their natural lifespan. If you ever wish to prolong the inevitable, then a tincture of stasis may be what you need. But remember, it's only an extension, and it is not indefinite. Don't come to rely on it, or you too will be left without an option when the foregone conclusion finally arrives. While you're here, I think you'll find that you now have access to your very own spellbook. Give it a look. Perhaps, if you're ambitious enough, you may even complete it someday. Life has rewards for those who achieve. To aid in your quest, in future sessions, I'll allow you to see more clearly what basal instinct influences each emotional decision. That shall be all for your first lesson. Perhaps next time you'll see a different possibility for how things could end, and learn something new. The end. Oh, spellbook. Let's look at the spellbook. What's this? A tincture of stasis? Oh, no, 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 no. End replay? I sure want to end the replay. Yes. Alright. So that was the first run of the story of this visual novel titled Making Friends. I will not be playing any further because well, I got an ending, even though it's like the ending that is basically the prelude to the game, it seems, because you need to get that ending to unlock the spellbook to really get the diversity of how the game plays. But I got to an ending, and that's good enough for me. I really like the story. I like the characters. I like what's going on here. I might play it off camera. But for you out there, dear viewer, I think I would like for you to go and play the game yourself, maybe, if you're interested in seeing the alternate options and stuff. Go and support the developer too, you know. I think you can download it for free, but you also have the option of paying the developer. The game's available on itch.io. I'll have a link in the description. Go download it, maybe give a few dollars to the developer. Play it yourself, see what's going on there. Support indie developers, especially indie developers in a space like this, making content like this. But for now, that's all. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for enjoying the adventure, hopefully. And that's it. Until the next adventure. Thank you for watching.